Good morning. I'm Heather Haley, coming to you live from McCormick Place here at GBTA Convention 2019. And with me this morning, I have Katie Raddatz from CWT. Welcome. Thanks for being with me this morning on the final day of convention.
Thank you. We survived.
I know, right? We're here. Our feet are intact.
We're still awake.
So GBTA and CWT just partnered together for the new travel forecast. Let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing coming out of that study. What's new for air travel and hotel?
Absolutely. So after seeing sharp rises in previous years of prices, we are starting to actually see some of that slow down. So in terms of good news from a buyer standpoint, we are seeing global air prices expected to increase 1.2% over where they were last year. Hotels are expected to increase about 1.3%, and ground in the rental car category is remaining relatively flat at a 1% increase anticipated.
You know, so I spent years as a buyer, and the forecast was always my go-to tool as I was heading into budget season, and this is such important information for our marketplace to be having. So let's talk a little bit about what factors are affecting those price changes.
Absolutely, and there's what can you control and what's
exactly.
going to happen whether you as a buyer have any influence over it. So while the global economy is anticipated to do quite well with GDP going up 3.6% in 2020, there are some outside risks that have been indicated in the report. Trade wars continue to be, in light of even the last couple of days, a risk that we're putting some provisions around, and how that may impact not only buyers' own business travel needs, but also the cost of goods and services, et cetera. So trade wars are definitely a risk. Brexit continues to be something we can talk about. I think the greatest impact will be if there's a no-deal Brexit.
Exactly.
So clearly the risk will be more for UK and European organizations and or travel in those regions. Oil supply, and it's more not necessarily the oil price, but potential shocks as it relates to what's being offered in the supply, particularly with pressures in Iran and the news we're seeing in the last couple of weeks as well. And then finally, many of the economists are anticipating that all indicators are leading to a potential recession. So that's looming in the background as well.
So, you know, from a buyer's perspective, what do you think their biggest takeaways are from the forecast and what they should be paying attention to most if you were in their shoes?
I think, having done this for a number of years, overall it's a positive picture. So I think that is certainly good news. In terms of what they can do to mitigate some of those risks or manage within their programs, there are a couple of things. You know, how do they continue to drive performance to the suppliers that they've got contractual commitments to? How do they continue to optimize where there are programs that are underserved in their population, or as their business changes, take advantage of those. Traveler experience and support of their traveling population will continue to be important. I think the other piece is there still remain opportunity markets out there where it is a buyer's market.
Yeah.
So in some regions, in some categories, being well armed to have successful negotiations will be critical. I think two of the key areas that we're looking at are, we're seeing some relief, particularly in hotel markets, that we feel like the end is nigh and some of the pricing will start to come down. Occupancy rates are high, but it's starting to catch up, and demand is selecting other options outside of that metro. And then the other piece is, particularly in Europe, we're seeing a lot more competitiveness around pricing from the legacy airlines against the low-cost carriers. So there are buying advantages out there that we encourage them to take advantage of.
And those are all great suggestions for the buyers, so hopefully they're tuning in. Katie, thanks for being with me this morning.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in this morning from GBTA Broadcast Studios. I'm Heather Haley.